Microphone. Hello, 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 hello. I think you can hear me. Can you guys put a Y in the chat if you can hear me? Hello, 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 hello. I think you can hear me. Yeah, okay, sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, perfect. And I've got the chat up here as well, so that's basically a win-win for all of us right now. Okay, sick. So now I can close that. Put this back up. I can do this in a second. And then let's pull up the charts here. So we had the chat. The chat was here. The chat only stays open with this. So I'd have to pull this down here. Put this up here. Great. I'll leave the chat on my phone then. It's all good. Open it on this. Give me a second. Open the app. Allow. Perfect. Alright, sweet. So, mic testing 1, 2, 3 million. Love that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so took a few trades this morning actually. Interesting. So, I have this on watch, London Session. So, I was looking at EU. Basically, on EU, I was waiting for EU to come down here for a potential entry. I understood this was one as well, where it kind of shaped up here. Where it was kind of something like that. But again, I didn't get that trade, so that was no trade there. This one was a trade as well, but because I was already priced in on these three, I didn't really want to take it, but you could argue there's still trade here right now as it's shaping up, and you can still get involved. It's just for 10 pips, I was basically protected here. So then I was like, you know what, I'll go with the additional pips. It seems a bit large as well in terms of the structure, and then where it's going into here, I was just kind of not really feeling that one. I'll be honest with you, probably same as most people. This one, do you know what, I'm happy to take a break even on it. So I've actually marked it already as a break even on my journal. I thought it was going to take me for break even there, it didn't, but it's over here, still running in trade. But yeah, so that one I'm just going to leave it now and let it do its thing. If it hits me for a break even, it hits me for a break even. It is what it is. GU's doing pretty well. Obviously the nice thing is we've basically started trading through this, and then we have our next point, which is basically there, which is basically, if you look at phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, we're probably going to push through that and continue higher, which is nice. Looking at the DXY selling off, as we were saying yesterday as well. If we tap into those areas, which I'll just show on the daily, if we tap into those areas there, we could potentially sell off early at this little point. I'm not thinking it's going to be the big sell all the way to the downside, but it's definitely going to be some sort of corrective sort of pullback or something like that. So I want to see how price responds from these areas, but equally I do want to be a little bit more aggressive with how I'm playing some of these other pairs. But even if this one starts to move correctively, we might see something like a GU recovery because of where it's positioned. So GU could be all the way up here by the time the DXY kind of just moves a little bit sideways within that range. So that's something that I'm also looking at. And then I've also got GJ. So just want to double check. You guys can still hear me, right? Just want to double check on that and make sure that there's no issue with the mic. I'm just going to continue. I hope there's, yep, okay, good, we're all good. All right, sweet. Yeah, so, and then I've got GJ. So, not bothered about my NU trade. It is what it is. If it takes for a break even, it does. GU and GJ are the ones that I'm really focusing my attention on. GU moves to the upside, which I really like, and then, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Oh, that's interesting. I did put this on, but it seems to have not popped up. Scene 1, scene 2. Scene 1, scene. Oh, I see what I did there. So if I do this and I go here and I add window capture. If I do that and I do that and I put trading view. Oh, how cool is that? Yeah, nice. Yeah, nice. Now on the stream, you guys should see me. So I'm a bit invisible though. Anyway, that's still pretty cool. Yeah, interesting. I love that. Yeah, I know it's pretty nice. It's cool. Isn't it? Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm using the PC when I was streaming it. It wasn't as nice. So I thought I'd bring it on. I'm a ghost now. Ghosting my way to seven figures. Let's see. So what you guys looking at the upcoming week? Yeah, it's always better when you can see the person talking, right? Yeah, sweet. I'll leave it like that. I'm happy with that. So yeah, we are good. So yeah, I'm basically looking at GJ for the long. Let's read some of these comments. So you took GU on break even. Yeah, good man. I don't think if you took GU anywhere near where I took it, it's not necessary to leave risk open, absolutely. And also, you could lock in a little bit, to be fair. I don't really anticipate a major pullback on GU just yet. I think, obviously, you'd want to be on the more safer side, you want to be kind of below that line. So I'll just go to the 15 minute, just below that correction. This is probably the safest point you could probably leave it if you really wanted to. So I think because I'm running around about 3%, I'd just leave it about 1% locked in there. And then just let it do its thing. And if it goes, it goes. I'm not going to be greedy. Yesterday, I lost 2% and then called it a day. But today I'm running 3% plus over here I'm running around about 2%. So I'm already up 5%. So, really and truly, if I wanted to cover my losses, I could. This is not really necessary over here. I'm probably going to leave this one at break even. I don't see it necessary to be aggressive on that one either. So I'm happy to leave these two as they are. Did you enter again, scale in? No, I didn't scale in. I was considering, but I thought, you know what? I'm already in it. I'm happy with it. I'm not looking to get too aggressive on this right now because if you look at the DXY, it still has a gap now and it has room to go higher. Even though there is probably a big sell coming, it's just one of those ones where if price retraced higher and then GU and GJ just kind of dip lower, I don't want to kind of take a loss on that now just because I'm seeing it as just kind of building my account up slowly and incrementally stacking those wins, those small wins. There was a nice 2-touch flag on the 5 minute. I think this one here, right? Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to develop a little bit more. Personally, I'm not too sure about it because of where it's situated. I would like to see it do that and then kind of go like that. If that happened, you could fully take advantage of a scale in there. 10 pips in that region there would cover you quite well, provided you had the retrace. Yeah, you'd be good for a trade like that. I don't see why that wouldn't play out. That would still be well in early London session into New York, and you'd probably be in for a pretty decent trade with that scaling. You could probably take that to the next point up here. You got 5% on that one. If you're in this one as well, you're running around like 7. You're anywhere above 10% of that point there. So with the scaling, it's definitely a possibility. It's something that personally, because I've got 3 trades open, I'm not looking to take a 4th, even though it's a scaling. I'm happy to leave that one locked in with 1%. GJ, most likely when it starts to break above this, I will lock in 1% around about here, and then I'll leave it as that. But for now, I'm kind of just leaving it in with a little bit locked in over here, about 0.2 roughly. And then we'll see how that goes. And then I've got this one at break even, so I've still got a lot to work with in comparison. No trade for today, still holding AC, nice. Yeah, sometimes it's good to just stick with one thing and put all your attention and focus into one particular pair. You tend to see that you probably make a lot more in the long run. Euro now goes echo. Oh, there's an echo. Shit, I didn't even notice. Let's see. I think there should be no. Is there still an echo now? Sound check is bad. My bad, I've been talking quite a lot and didn't read the comments. Hope there isn't still an echo. Nice. I think there should be no. Is there still an echo now? Yeah, there is an echo, I can hear it. Hello, testing 1 2 1 2. My bad, I've been talking quite a lot and didn't read the comments. Hope there isn't still an echo. Nice. How about now? Echo. Test. It's not so bad. What was I using before? I had another microphone. I think I still got that one hanging about, but I've got to dig it out. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. I know I've got another microphone. I want to quickly grab that. Alright, sweet. Yeah, let's just continue. I've got to set it up and there's a lot of paper, wiring I need to sort out. Let me just double check this is sounding too well. Okay, cool. It's good enough. It's good enough. Alright, let's check some of these comments. So, someone asked me about gold as well. So I'll check. So, how many trades have you taken this week, mate? Do you take them on one account? So yeah, I'll show you. Hold on, I've got it right here. I'm only sharing one screen now, right? Well, if I flip over to, I'll just take a screenshot and put it onto the screen where you can see it. So this is how many trades I've taken this week. So if we look at it, I've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trades. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades. 10 trades. The shadow ones as well, they're basically trades I took as well. I've just marked it as a shadow because I was basically not sure if I was able to manage them or not, so I marked one as that. How many took a loss on NJ, was anticipating a buy on the 1 hour, it did not play out. Interesting, let's have a look at NJ. I mean, to be honest, and I was saying this as well, after all of that, after all of that push, price is coming back down, where's it going? And then you look at it over here, and you can see price came in, tapped into this area, then it came back down, tapped into that, and then when it hit this area, it kind of responded with a push higher. So at that point there, it's kind of like, are we holding in this area here, where coincidentally it's also retesting the back end of that side? So there was the room where you could argue, yeah, but what if it comes back all the way down here? I don't think it's necessary. I think one thing you have to realize is, and I'll just quickly show you this as a good little tip. If you measure it up from the top to bottom, you can see it's borderline broken at 50%. So now it's in that neutral area. Looking for shorts isn't necessarily the worst thing because you're kind of looking at it as retesting the back end of this and then that. But then you have to ask yourself, why did it come down here? And then you look left and you see it filled the gap. So then you ask yourself, did it come all the way down here to just fill the gap and then it's coming its way back up? It's very possible markets do that. So then I have to kind of look at the aspect of, okay, let's look at two sides, long and short. If we sold off here, then taking this as a short here isn't terrible. Taking a short here is quite strategic because that would basically be playing your retesting this, you've then broke, you've tapped into the low, you're kind of creating continuation there, you're taking a riskier trade in this area to then short. The point is, after that happened, you're then playing, this is an isolated structure where it's kind of like, okay, that's the flag, it's then broken back below the retest here, we're now trading below, left a bit of a reference point, we're then creating this sort of flag, this becomes your V shape. At this point here, it doesn't come back up. It doesn't come back up, it just sells off. So if you were looking at some sort of trade in these areas, it definitely wasn't a good idea. Anything here, you would have really wanted to wait for more continuation. And that would have been your confirmation that we're selling further. And then you would manage it into that area and then wait for more and then just keep trailing it on the way down. And that would have supported the sell. But the higher time frame wasn't looking too good on that side as well because it wasn't closed as well. The daily, you can see how the daily closed over here. That huge wick. Now, some of that wick is probably going to get filled. How it gets filled, I'm not sure. But usually, that's not a good sign for selling momentum. Like we sold off, but then we bought it straight back up. So that's your red flag in itself. The 4 hour, looking at it here, you can see it's kind of just moving sideways.
nothing great about this on the JP225. Then you go over and look at your Euro USD and EJ, NJ, etc. And you can see it's kind of done a similar thing where it's come down, tapped into the test of the low here. Remember, there's still a gap to the downside, so it's probably going to come down at some point and fill this gap, just not right now. And it's come back up to retest this area. So this is something that, again, we're still in an area where we can sell off. I don't think looking for longs is a bad thing, but I don't think looking for just longs is a good thing. I think what you can be doing right now is just wait, see if price does break this, creates continuation below here, and then you can take that trade to the downside, and then with enough hope and momentum, I think we could be coming back all the way down here. So then suddenly you have a really good run ahead of you. I just, right now, seeing how price is just situated there, this looks more like it could be becoming a long, but you can see how it's squeezed into this area, retested this. The shorts look good from an EJ perspective. NJ as well. NJ is doing something quite similar in the sense that you've got this move here. This is kind of nothing, really and truly. It's just retested the back end of that. It's come from a bit of a messier price action push up, first flag, and now it's kind of becoming irregular. So really and truly, that either goes up from here or we start to see more continuation and this starts selling off. AJ, same situation. It's just continuing within this squeeze. It could have one push up and go. Otherwise, it could just drop off, continue, and sell off. GJ equally. GJ just was nice because it was flat like this and it was above all of that. So as a trade idea, that's good. It's one that I'm happy to kind of walk away with, a small percentage on it. It's kind of filled the majority of this gap as well. So looking at the GBP pairs, they could be the first ones to go and give us the clue on a lot of these instruments that if the GBP US dollar and GBP yen kind of move up here and the rest of them are stalling and then it holds, and then we start seeing something like the JP225 appreciating as well, then we might see a lot of these pairs just follow soon after. So that's something that I'm also looking at. I am not looking to just get out of the trade based on EJ, NJ, and AJ looking like they could be going short as well. I would want to see something significant. Over here you can see again, you've got a little bit of a squeeze over here. CJ, again, this is similar with the base of EJ and all them. This could easily just be a part of that, and it kind of corrects down, comes up, and then it sells off. So I would still be cautious. I like CAD yen a lot for the long. Like GJ, we've tapped into the low here. In terms of a gap, we've filled majority of it. There's this tiny little gap there, which probably will get filled if the other ones get filled. But most likely right now, sitting where we are, we've tapped into this low. We've come up, we've pushed up, we're now in this phase here. Right now, entry-wise, if you are looking at this for an entry, I think you're good. Just looking at this, let me clean that off. Yeah, looking at this for the 4 hour, everything's in place. Entry-wise, this is just set straight with my forecast as well. You're looking at that as a completion, and then basically you'd be looking at that gap fill. So as a trade in itself, in isolation, it's good. That's 15 pips. Could you get away with tighter? I wouldn't want to. I would most likely want to go a bit extra on this. I'd go 20. Risk reward's not going to be the best in terms of the first target zone, which is here of 1.25, 1 point something. But then if it does end up committing and going, it becomes a 6%. And you could probably get scaling. That's the thing that most people forget. It's not just the one trade that's going to be 6%. You're going to add in and you're going to scale in on it as well. If you wanted to go aggressive on this, which I'm not personally a fan of, you'd probably set some sort of entry up there, go to 15, maybe put a little bit extra, go to about 12 pips on it, and you can play the trade like that. In terms of the hourly, it's looking pretty decent for the confirmed. The next hourly candle will probably be your better candle to wait for, but the next candle could be all the way up here somewhere. So that's the risk you've got to take if you're waiting for that. USD yen, I'm not a fan of USD yen because of where the DXY is situated and how it's selling off and in an area where it can just push higher again. So nothing looks like a sell on this just yet for me, even though we're kind of just squeezing and we do have the gap all the way down here. That's a good sign that if the DXY sells off, UJ could be a rapid seller as well, and then we could see other yen pairs go with it. So yen pair and US dollar pairs, those are the ones you really want to put a lot of your attention and focus into right now. By no means do I think that we're in a market reversal just yet. It's too soon to tell, but with the way things are moving and how we're not responding to that gap fill and stuff, you know, there's a clue that we are developing something in this area. It's just in these areas, you know, we do things like this. So if price pulls back all of a sudden, you don't want to be leaving it with loose protection on a lot of these pairs right now, because price can just turn around from here where it is right now, and it can just come make its way back up, and then eventually become that ascending channel that we look to take advantage of in those areas, right? So keep that in mind as well. But nothing about this looks bearish on Euro USD. Nothing about this looks bearish just yet on Euro Aussie. New Zealand US dollar, nothing that's bearish just yet. GBP US dollar looks good. Everything looks pretty good. I see that scaling. Did it shape up? No, not yet. So yeah, you'd be waiting on something like that. And then if you really wanted to, you could set the reduced risk, but the problem with a reduced risk entry on this is you can't manage it. You see, if I take it like that, I can't manage it into that low. Even though this low is the most significant low, I'd want to be able to manage it into that point as well, just in case of whatever. But the reduced risk entry, I would say, is not the worst trade in the world. You could set it and just at least be involved in that. Or if you really wanted to, you could take the entry where it is situated now. You could argue it's premature, but if you've got enough protection and you're going with a bit more, you might as well just take the reduced risk, to be honest, because stock protection will be borderline the same. So yeah, it's really up to you which one you want to go for. And yeah, GJ's looking good. I think GJ was probably the cleanest trade today in terms of like structure, where it came from, push up, insurance entry. Like you'll look back on this trade and be like, why did I not take that trade? It's one of those ones, because when you really think about it, what was not good about this trade really? You know, if I draw it up and I put it in like that, it's your middle section, and then that's your internal structure right there, and your trade's there. Tell me, what is not nice about this? There's so much about this that I love, right? And it's just, yes, it's a really good structure. So when you look at it, obviously upside down, you guys can probably see what I'm seeing now, and then you're like, okay, I see that, that's nice, it's a nice trade. And the cool thing about it is the intricacies. Like if I put the retest section there, you know, I've obviously don't need it, but then you can see the actual structure. We've broken below all of this. We've then had this section here where we tested it multiple times over there, and then structurally we're just set off. So you've got pin bar. Arguably you could take it on that candle or the next one, doesn't really matter. And now we're just basically in the run. So for a longer term move, GJ is your optimal trade. Same thing goes with GU. I think these two pairs alone could be a pretty rapid mover. You know, again, this is something that you realize over time. Even though we had the area of interest there, if we retrace all the way back in, it's still completely valid, right? This trade is not invalidated because of that one big candle that pushed higher. In fact, this could retrace all the way back in, be down here, and suddenly you're heavy looking for shorts. And what we've done is we've priced ourselves in quite strategically above that, within the psychology of that potentially happening. And then if that happens and price is all the way down here, what reason does it have to come all the way up here unless it's going to the upside? So that's basically the thought process in that in itself. Are we still connected? I think we are. Let's see, double check chat. Okay, so we have some questions. Did you take gold this morning?
I didn't take gold this morning actually. But I was monitoring it. I didn't see gold at that point. If I just invert this again, I was looking at gold. I was looking at gold over there. I want to see gold for the sell, but then I was like, you know what? Sometimes I do this and it's quite silly. It's like the trade will be up here on the 4 hour, the daily, and we're all the way down here. We've done everything we need to on the bottom side. All right, so let's say we've got this now. Price has left a gap. The obvious answer is we're coming back to these areas at some point. Take advantage of this run. That's basically the focus. So then I was looking at it like this, and I was like, okay, let me try a pattern separate and see what's happening here. And what it was we had this, and it was kind of a bit like that. I was like, okay, this is more of a failed continuation area now. So then all of that is kind of failed continuation territory. All of this is failed continuation to the downside. This is the small consolidation to then move to the upside. And then I would have taken advantage of that, and that's how I would have seen it as a trade. And the great thing is I could have managed it to that point there. So seeing it as a trade like this, I could easily manage it into that point from here to here, and then just trade it accordingly. And yeah, I'd probably be out right now for roughly around about 4.4%. And you know, I'd mark on that point as the next point. We tapped into it. It's possible it could really mess about now and come back down a little bit, do a big swing, this and that. I didn't want to be too aggressive, but at the same time, when you start approaching these areas, I did. So at that point there, I was running about 6. I locked in around about 4 and 4, and then that's that. So that would be the trade. Obviously, this had optimal around about 13%, but I'm not looking to hold all the way up until that point. There's a lot going on to the left here as well. Price can continue moving a lot further, and it could be a longer term trade, absolutely. But for 4.4%, that's great. So, you know, at the end of the day, I was happy with that trade. Entry was taken on the 5, so you know, you see it like this. You can see that price pushed up, failed to continue there, small consolidation, pushed up, another little tight consolidation part, and then it came back down, left a footprint. It did have this to the left, but then when you really look at the psychology of everything, what I mentioned over there, it was like, okay, that was one piece of its own. This is isolation. If this is going to go, this is the area. What time of day is it? Well, it's prime time, pre-London, coming into London Open. It makes sense. It really does make sense. If we get a 5-minute confirmation here, I wouldn't be surprised if we start shooting up. And then what happened was we squeezed into it. When you pattern separate it as well, and you look at it, it's got all the elements of a trade, which you would take on a higher time frame as well. And then boom, it just committed. And you could have taken it on the first candle, the second candle, or even the third candle as a reduced risk. So there was a lot of entry there. I wasn't in favour of reduced risk for sure, but again, anywhere between around about 6:45 to roughly around about 6:55, there was an entry there. 15-minute would have been too late, in my opinion. You'd have to go for the reduced risk, which I'm sure some people did do. I'm almost certain some people went for the reduced risk. That's just that. Let's have a little look at the next question. Better, bro, you just entered and came back from a wall. Are you part of the Matrix? Yeah, literally. Do you know what? It's nice, man. It's good. It's good. I'm very happy with myself. Like I put in a lot of work this past few weeks, even though I've had guests come over and I've taken a break for quite some time. I took a break for quite a lot of time now, but it wasn't a break from trading. It was a break from like just taking full live action, and it was kind of just working on myself. And I think if anybody's stuck on their trading right now and they're really struggling to build a level of consistency, stop live trading for a little bit, start shadow trading, start building up your data, start working from a very calm, collected mindset and less emotional. Remove a lot of the emotions, because when you're always constantly in the pit of trading, it's very difficult because your focus is like this. You just say this is your day, right? This is the morning, so that's 5 a.m. Sam, 5 a.m. right? And then this one is like, let's say 6 p.m. UK. We're looking at UK time, so whatever your equivalent is.
and that's all your trading hours, right? Now within there, you need to do a lot of things. You need to, you have to do a lot of things. One second, I'm just going to type it. Where's my text? I don't have the text button up here. I'm just going to put in this. Okay, the things that you've got to do. Well, first thing you've got to do is you've got to trade. Then you've got to do your routines, which consist of a whole bunch of things, right? Which would be like meditation, gym. Not every day, but it's there. What else? Maybe reading. Maybe practice piano. Because again, these things may not be directly related with your trading, but believe me, it's how you do one thing, it's how you do everything. And you need these positive, like you'll notice that all these things are also positive distractions. These are things that I do. If I just quickly just open up my routine list on my tablet, and I can just quickly read out some stuff. Okay, so then you've got dog walk, then you've got evening forecast, morning forecast, you've got session reviews. So I do morning, afternoon, and I do evening, right? And this is not your forecast. This is just a review of the day. And then you've got your webinars. And then what else have you got? I've got a cold shower in the morning, stretching, breathing exercises, drink 3 liters of water, window of opportunity, so you do 5 minutes in the morning. So I've got 10 minutes because you do 5 in the morning, 5 in the evening. You can do 15, but yeah. Woo, visualization. Then you have your journaling. Then you have your affirmations / affirmation journaling, gratitude journal, whatever you do as well. I do a 5-minute visualization journal as well. End of day review, which kind of comes in with the evening review, but it's slightly different. End of day, I'll just put in there, end of day review. Now this looks like a lot of stuff, don't get me wrong, this could be a little bit overwhelming seeing all of these things, but believe me, this is what I do, part of my everyday. So it's not impossible, but so now you look at it, you got 10 hours in a day. Now treating this like a business, right? You're not messing about. You're treating this like a business. You're doing the things that actually make you a successful, profitable trader. These are the things that I'm doing. These are the things in my routine. So obviously this is in no particular order, but I have it in an order with time slots, right? If I actually just read mine out, if you wanted to take note, you can do, or you can replay this. So 7 a.m., which is 5 a.m. UK, because I'm 2 hours ahead. I'll do my 5-minute visualization, then I'll start drinking water, cold shower at 5:30. I don't do that every day. Sometimes I do miss it because I don't feel like it, but most of the time I do try to do it, and I don't let it bother me because I didn't do it. Stretching and breathing, 5:30 as well, but that's even before I started anything. So after I've had my shower, stretching and breathing. Affirmations, gratitude, visualization. What that basically means is I do my journaling for affirmations, and I'll write them out in a book. I'll do my gratitude visualization, and just before I forget, Zeph, message me on Instagram and we'll jump on a call after this live if you've got time. Journaling, I'll do that after as well. So journaling will be a separate journal, and then I'll do my morning forecast. And then as I finish my morning forecast, I'll prepare my workspace environment, either before or after the journal, the morning forecast. And then I've basically prepared myself and take any trades after I've done that. By that point, it should already be around about coming at 8:30 when I'm doing that. So I've got 9 a.m. session open for London to be well prepared to take a trade. i.e., if you look at my trades, they were pretty much timed pretty well, to be honest. After I finished my session, I was pretty good. This one, arguably, it was kind of borderline when I woke up, but I think I woke up around about here at 5. I finished my routines roughly around about here at 6:30, so about an hour later I finished my routines, and then within about 30 minutes of just kind of the forecast and seeing where the markets were, I was able to take advantage of that. So yeah, and then in the evening, that's all it. And then on a Friday it might be slightly different because of different webinars and stuff, but I'll do, for example, prepare my charts for the SMB and things like that. So that's kind of just giving you an insight of what I kind of do in order. Which one did I put it on? Gold. So I'm just looking for the, oh, there it is. Yeah, so now if we go back to this diagram here, within that you need to kind of fit in all those things you're doing, but then within there you should have a slot, a period, where you might have 2 slots here, and then within that, that's where I'm building up all of my flow state to trade. So this would be like the live trading part for me mostly, but ideally I want to be ready throughout the day, but I want to be extremely ready during those 2 periods, which are going to be like your New York and London session. So then I can take full advantage of these 2 areas, but then between everything else, I'm doing all of that stuff, right? And the reason why I kind of built like this as well was I realized how I functioned really well when I was working in an office for someone else. And there was no real lag periods when I was working. I noticed that I was always doing something, right? In the morning I would have meetings, and then I'll be conducting meetings, then I'll do some mentoring, then I would also then do some reviewing some of the employees' work, and then I would make some calls myself, and then do some more meetings, and I always had something going on. So at the end of the day, when it came down to my trading, it was like I didn't have any of this stuff, to be honest. I had none of this stuff in place. All of this was non-existent. So live trading was literally the whole day. I could trade live the whole day. And in comparison to seeing that and then having this works way better. This works way better for me because I don't have to sit there by the charts all day. In fact, most people know right now I don't even spend much time by the charts. I only spend more time on the charts when I'm doing these lives and talking to you guys because I enjoy it, but also it gives me some time to kind of look at the charts and do things. Had I not been on this, I'd be probably going to the gym right now, maybe go to the beach, maybe go do some shopping or something, food shopping, kind of do some other stuff with my time. But you would never catch me now off these calls and just sitting by the charts doing nothing, right? I just kind of, if I'm by the charts, it's either because I want to kind of share some stuff with you guys, or perhaps maybe I'm managing a trade, being aggressive with it because I was able to get inside. Like this trade, for example, let's say I get the scale in here, right? And then let's say price starts to commit. And I've got this trade open as well now. And I've got it in with borderline, let's call it around about 10 pips. Okay, and let's say I've got the retrace candle I get in over there. I'm then moving, price is coming up here, price is moving pretty aggressively. I'm gonna then be like, okay, I'm locking in 1% on this one, great. I'm moving this over here, great. 3, now I've got 4% locked in. Then the trade is just flying, and then I'm like, okay, you know what, forget this, I don't care about it flying. I'm locking in about 5 here, it's running around about 7, so I'm gonna lock in 6 on this one. And then over here, I'm gonna be locking in, it's running around about 5, so I'm gonna lock in around about 4. And then I'm just going to keep trading aggressively, and then as it flies and taps into that area, it's roughly around about 8%, so I'm going to be like, you know what, 6.5 done. And then this one, I'll at 7.5, and then this one over here, it's running around about 6. I'll be like, okay, yeah, cool, I'll do 5.3, leave it there, and then if it goes and continues, I'll just trail aggressively. And then maybe in that period, I'll be taking screenshots and just putting it on my Instagram so you guys can see the thought process of what I'm doing in the live moment, so that you guys can also be with it in that aspect, because I know sometimes management can be a difficult part. Catching the entry can sometimes be quite simple and easy, but then the different conditions, like the reason why I start managing aggressively is because there's a sharp sell-off point there. So I know from the data I've collected that this is definitely an area where price is most likely going to gravitate towards. And if price gets there, we might get some sort of reaction to that point, because previously we sold off sharp. So if we come back there again, there's a possibility that we can have a sharp sell-off. Now, looking at the higher time frame, I don't think that's the most probable scenario. I actually think we're looking at a much longer term trade, and there's no reason to be so aggressive. But at the same time, I'm not going to be looking to stay in this trade and keep managing it. Like I'm happy to kind of walk away with 7 and 5, which puts me at like 13-14%, and then I can just walk away, enjoy the rest of my day, go do something else, and then plan for the next trade. I'm not trying to be greedy. I'm just trying to stack those small trades and then let them go. And sometimes you get 7%, sometimes you get 3%, sometimes a little bit less, and sometimes a lot more. And that's really the whole thought process behind that. So let me read some of these questions now. So we've got EJ looks great. Let's have a look at EJ. Yeah, EJ's one of them ones, man, because it's squeezed like this and now it's coming back down. I'm not too interested in EJ. I would want to see it do this, where maybe it kind of comes in correctively, does that, and then it comes back up, and then that becomes corrective. So it's like a correction into a correction, back into an area of interest, and then we get like some sort of insurance entry here, and we go. That's where I'll be kind of looking like, okay, cool, I'm taking that trade. That's when I'll be looking at the long. In terms of the sell, right now, I'm not interested in this trade. And the reason why I'm not interested in it is because it can easily just do this. It drops off, comes down here, gives me a continuation, and then it continues selling. And then we go back to that higher time frame picture I was talking about, and then we start making our way all the way back down to these points. And then we're like, holy smokes, this was a V shape, that was a big sell-off. I missed the picture. You see what I mean? So that's why kind of, in a way, I'm kind of not too excited about GJ right now. And I'm thinking, you know what, I might just take that one as it comes. If it goes, it goes. If it takes it for a break even, I'll take it for the 0.2% I have locked in. GU it included. GU looks nice. At the same time, if the DXY starts to recover and move to the upside, because we've left gaps and whatnot, I wouldn't be too surprised. And then GU would be a break even, GJ would be a break even, NU is a break even at this point, right? NU's hit break even. So it's just all of those things included where I'm not too bothered, really. It is what it is. So I wouldn't get too attached to anything right now. There's nothing of major significance in the markets right at this point. Let's quickly have a read next question. AU was the first I took early this morning, saw it at the reduced risk entry, saw GU and EN at the same time for the long, but took GU and I've got the DXY as another confidence taking it. Yeah, brilliant. This is the exact same thought process as me, man. I literally saw the DXY and then I scanned my related pairs, and then GU was the one where I was like, do you know what, GU might lead the way because it's pushed away quite far away, but if it's going to recover, it has a bit of a run to make. So if the DXY is going to start selling off, GU would be the one that most likely makes the biggest move, and that's why I was kind of banking on that, because that would kind of lead the way on it. So I'll have a look at EN and EA. So I was looking at this, where I thought maybe you've got this, goes up, we didn't quite get that. I'd still be in this trade if I took it, to be fair. You're basically playing that and you would have just left it and just let it run. So I see the trade there. This one, nothing. I couldn't see anything there, man, really. I think that's a bit crap, in my opinion. There's nothing special about EN right now. I think EN's going long. It's just messing about, doing its thing. I'm not interested in EN in any way. If I go 4 hour, yeah, there's nothing that jumps out to me and it's like, this is great. What would have been nice is if we responded here, we sold, we got continuation, and now we're in the run and we're committing, then that would have been a head and shoulders situation. Right now we're stalling and it looks like we're accumulating more volume to move higher. So I don't want to be a part of that volume. I want to be a part of the impulsive leg. So I'm going to wait till structure is completed. Then I'll be looking to take advantage of that. UJ long yesterday. Yeah, right here. It's good. UJ's given quite a lot of entries anyway, because once we started running here, you can see there was countless amounts of opportunities. Once we broke this, it was then just like, okay, you've got a buy in there. Price came up, borderline was here. It failed to continue here. So there's basically a trade here as well. And then now we've retested this,
most likely what we're seeing is, and if I just go back, what we're probably seeing right now is something like that. And then maybe price comes back down for one more and we go higher. It's not my most regular price action as well. It's very steep. I wouldn't be surprised if this starts selling, truly. I'm more on the side of these yen pairs selling off, even though I'm holding a GJ long right now. I'm kind of more on the side of this develops and becomes a short. But I'm good. I'm happy to hold what I have. I've taken the decision. Structurally, all's good. Just let it do what it needs to do before I make any decisions. EJ looks good. Make trade after news. EU. Yeah, I saw Ibby's trade on EU for this one, where you kind of have that. And you took it here. It's a good trade. It's pretty much the same as my GU trade. Just GU I got in for the risk entry. I think GU was way nicer. He probably didn't see it in the moment, or he didn't want to go so aggressive like me. Different characteristics for different traders. If it came down over here, he would have taken it. But you see, when I took GU was there. GU was in this area here, I believe. Let me see, that was 5 a.m. GU was around 7, so no, it wasn't. It was here. It came here. So at that point there, yeah, sure, you probably would have been anticipating price to come back down before it went long. And then you were hoping the structure would be something like that. Price came in over here. I think this was my forecast actually. Just double check. I think that's what I forecasted this morning. If I'll pull it up here. AU. Okay. No, I had something a bit different. This is what I was looking for, which is basically still there, really. I'm just looking for it to do that. So if I go to 15-minute, it's basically, it comes back down into that area and then it goes long. Right now it's kind of doing that. Just, yeah, I don't think what I've looked for is the same thing that's coming. I think this is just a bit steep, a bit erratic, and it's going to go and not really give the cleanest of entries, and that makes a lot of sense for where it is. This continued selling would make a lot of sense as well. So I'm a fan. I'm a big fan for these three trades that I've taken. And yeah, okay, it's a break even. If I really wanted to, though, I could leave. I could have left that open. I think I had it still open, actually. I don't think I moved it to break even. I had to just double check that. Yeah, I've actually still got it open. Yeah, 1 second. Let me just close this. Let me just double check it. And I'm just talking and I'm not really paying attention to it. Yeah. I've still got it open, to be fair, actually. I didn't get taken out for a break even. I left my risk open. I'm kind of happy with leaving the risk open. I don't really have an issue with this trade because I like it. I like this trade enough to take a loss in it if it becomes a loss. Even though it's tapped into this and we've got like that 4-hour rejection there, and then it's kind of giving this big indecision candle and it's kind of selling off right now. I really do like the thought process of where it is, and if a recovery was to come into play, we've broken the low and then we just come back up to kind of tap into like maybe this area here where there was liquidity right there. We come in, tap into that, and then we sell off again, and then it's just a part of this corrective channel like that, right? Whatever, however it wants to be seen. But I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, we got something like this. It just continues. That would be really nice, right? So that's kind of one thing that I will be paying attention to when looking at that, because that kind of looks like that's the play, but we won't know until it happens. But I'll be well into profit at that point and probably out of the trade, borderline. Let me just size that up quickly. Obviously it's speculation at this point, but yeah, this would be running somewhere around about 4-ish%,
Probably if it does get corrective and a bit messy, you know, I could be walking away with probably 3%, 3 or 2% on that, if I'm lucky. If it goes, it ends up becoming a 7% trade and it's more aggressive than anticipated, fine. But look at that trade idea, man. That would lead us into late November, but it will be correcting on a larger flag, and then volume wise it just sells off into December, and then by December the 1st it's like all the way down here based on my forecast. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, that was basically it really. Let's have a little look at this. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. GU. Let's give that some time. Let's see if it shapes up. We could potentially get scaling on this trade. Let me size that up on my account as well. Someone asked me earlier as well, I think they said, do you take trades on multiple accounts? I have done before, it's not an issue. You just got to be quite quick and quite used to it, and you have to be careful, because when you take a 5-minute entry, sometimes it can move, so your stop loss placement won't be the same. So sometimes you might have to, if you're going with like 0.5% risk or percent risk, for example, you got to be very careful with that. I prefer personally to go with less. I think less is more. We've just hit 1 o'clock now in my time, so what, it's currently, it's traded at 11, 12, New York session, maybe we sell off a bit more, or we hover around. I don't like it because of the time of day. But it's not to say that it's not going to go, man. I think there's a scaling opportunity on this for sure. What about GJ? Nah, GJ is pulling into this area as well. It's still within this correction, which is not great. I want to see it just kind of break and continue higher. Hasn't done that yet. GU, NU. Yeah, I'm going to take the break even on NU. So I'm just closing it now. Yeah, just closed it at break even. And I will put that in my journal in a second. Yeah, I'll leave that one now, that's done. AU would have also been a break even. Interesting. And then EU is coming back in. Most likely people who took AU would probably take, EU would probably take a break even soon. And probably wait for some sort of better entry. GU looks alright. That 5 minute, would I be taking a 5? Yeah, I like it. What do you guys think about GU? Are you guys looking to get involved in GU? Let's have a little look here. Is it only me and Zeph? You know what? I'll tell you something as well. Just reading off your comment here. Ibby's probably gonna mitigate some of his risk if price comes down further. I just don't think he's gonna get out, because look at that, right? Psychologically, you have to think about it. Price is broken above all of this. It's not likely to just come and sell back all the way down here. So you getting protection anywhere around about here is kind of safe. I would say below there is the best safety barrier, because you're below that. But real truth wise, you're probably gonna, even if this retraces a bit here and comes there, it's probably gonna rebound and come back up and tap into those areas. So you'd ride it, man. You'd ride it and just accept the risk on that. NU will probably come back up. I just don't want to be in that, because it could do that before it goes higher, and then it's just a larger piece of something messy. It could probably go from where it is. Again, I'm not bothered. I've got GU. I'm probably about to take the scale in right now. Yeah, I'm taking it right now. 1 sec. Yeah, cool. Cool, GU is nice, man. I'll go a little bit careful, because you don't want it to come in and retest that. So if you're taking it here, I know 10 pips is sitting right on that, so you want to be a little bit careful of that, because if you do dip lower, odds are it can come in and tap into that. So you could probably go with like 13 just to be a little bit extra safe, 12, 13, give it 2 extra pips. But yeah, so that's the trade in itself. I don't mind the 10 pips. I don't mind taking tiny loss, but I know from statistics you're always good adding a little bit extra on something like that. Trade's there. Happy with that trade. You've even got kind of decent enough tapping into the area. We just want to see it kind of follow through now. 15-minute, still stalling, so nothing's really confirmed. This can still develop as well. It's the only negative. This could come down a bit more, goes like this, and then comes back down, and then develops into that. So, reason why I say, by New York session, you're over here, and you probably would have been taken out, and then price would have just gone without you. So, bit extra protection, probably better for the ease of mind, in my personal opinion there. GJ, scaling on GJ, really? Interesting though, but no, I'm not going to take a scale in on this particular pair, because I'm already in a pair. I'm already in this pair for a trade. Yeah, let's just leave it now. It's good. We'll just wait and see. I'm going to clear off this. I'm going to take these off and just put them up here. Just leave those two on. Alright, so let me just fill in my London session review, because I was doing that before I started on this call. So I've got next question. Was my execution time in line with it? Yes. London session open. How was the volatility to this evening? Let's read some of these questions while I'm here as well. I don't like what I'm seeing on the DXY. What are you looking at, DXY? What, that little pullback? Yeah. It's still early days, man. If you look at it on the 4 hour, it's nothing special, it's just selling off. So until that 4 hour closes in an hour from now, if that 4 hour closes bullish, then you know that's your clear red flag for shorts, and likelihood is we're coming back up and we're going to start moving to the upside. So you can start looking for longs. I can start getting out of my GU position and so forth if I haven't taken a break even at that point. But if it ends bearish, I'm setting in, man. It's going to be a solid trade. Very, very solid. Again, this is something that you'd have to wait for. So as I mentioned, you are ideally looking for protection down here. Me personally, I like the idea of a 14 pip. I feel like that's optimal protection. Maybe you get 10 if it starts selling off a little bit more, but I'm not bothered. What's next? Let's just quickly fill this in. So, how was the volatility in line session? It was really good. It played in line. Forecast. Biggest takeaway from London session. Okay, good. And
What else do I have here? Next question. I will manage my positions. Okay, cool. Alright, sweet, that's done. So yeah, we can see that trade's there, and then GJ's still running. I think we're good. Let me put that one up on Instagram for the peoples. I mean, you guys are the people. The real people. The real people who come to the live every day, get a real experience. I think I'm having internet issues. I think there is internet issues in my area because everything's being a bit slow. GU scale, GBP, USD scale in nice. Did anyone else take this trade with me? I'm curious to know if you guys are really involved as well. Protected the stop, yeah, good. Yeah, cool. And we're kind of prime time coming into New York session soon, so it's not a bad thing. I like it a lot. I would say, let me put the break even on NU up for people as well. So see right here. Manual. I just put break even. I wonder if the stories actually help anyone here. If they think that I should post anything differently. If they think that the content could be presented anything better, I'll be interested to know for sure. Solid. Yes, I did. Oh, my guy, Kasim. Man, if you guys don't know, Kasim is also my guy. Spend a lot of time chatting to this guy and Ankit, and also Zephyr now as well. But most of all, Ankit and Kasim's a lot of time. Good to see you on the chat, man. But yeah, so GU. Let's see how that runs. Currently running, let me just double check it, yep, so I've got 2% locked roughly around about here, 2.6, 2.5, so I'm probably still, going to move it. I'll probably leave it around about percent on my account. Give me 1 second, I'm going to change that. Lock in about percent. And then the scaling, I'm leaving the risk open just now. It's basically borderline the same, actually. Just noticed that. It's pretty much the same. I took it with my stop loss is there. It's not bad. Actually, it's showing as 10.9 for some reason. I think maybe because of spread. So I'll just put 11 if I can't curb that 9. Yeah. And it must have been a bit higher, yeah, around about there. Cool. That's the trade that I'm in. And then I've got GJ. So let's see how those two run. Oh, I can do this side by side, can't I? Yeah. And then put here GJ. We'll change the color on that template. Beige, bold, black and white. Yeah, nice. I'll put it on hourly. I prefer it on the hour. Close that. And then yeah, that's it. We're basically in these trades.
Wow. There was a time where I could only hope to have got into trades like this. You know, there was a time in my life where I would have been so happy to have just caught a trade and been in it and managed it well. But now, just seeing how things are, like, so glad that I stuck with trading and I didn't give up. Honestly, such a big thing for everyone to realise that if you stay persistent long enough, man, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get the money, man. The money's coming to you. It's nice. Oh boy, this is nice, man. I'm running good profit right now as well. So all of these, it's good, man. Yesterday was not a great day, but you see, this is a nice thing as well. Knowing when to step away. I stepped away. Don't get me wrong. I saw some people, they took the loss in the morning, but they came back in the afternoon and took a trade and made a winner. I didn't want to put my psychology at risk. I knew that I can come back tomorrow and, you know, I can continue and persist. And I think, again, that's what kind of put me in this position today. You know, overall, this month, if I add everything up, let's say I walk away with 3% on each of these trades. So that's 369, 9% today, plus the 19.3% I'm on because I took -2 yesterday. You know, that's still leaving me in a really good place. It's putting me roughly around about 28.3%. And I'm not even at the end of the week. That's a week. It's going to be at 28.3% for the week. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So, obviously I'm basing it on 3%. One of these could just go. You know, this one, I'm really excited for GJ. If GJ runs, this could be a 16-17% trade in itself. It could be a mega trade. 23, that's like doubling my week in one trade. Obviously, I'm being a bit loose with GJ. I'm looking at this for a longer term move because it has a lot of room to go. If it comes back down in these areas, then yeah, sure, I'll take the break even and get repositioned for a long at some point. These two alone, if they go up here, back to this area here, well, let me clear off this line, don't need it. If it comes back up to, I'll clear that one off, to even retest, let's just say the origin of that, right, comes into this area here, I've got around about 6.3 on that, and then I've got an additional about 3.5. So again, that's like borderline 10% by itself, these two trades. It's borderline 10%. So great trading opportunities in themselves. Wow, how exciting is that? So exciting, really and truly. Kind of being more cautious with the candlesticks it's closing. If we've got a decent impulse on the candle closing for the next retracement, yeah. Wait, the candlestick it closing more. If we've got a decent impulse on a candle close and the next retrace 50% or more, the previous. I see what you mean. Yeah, you're basing it on one candle though, and look at the candle's positioned, right? Like even if you had a huge candle here and it dropped off like that, and then the next candle, like let's just say that was too visible. Say that was the first candle, and then this one came up and went all the way back up here. Are you still gonna? And it basically did that. Are you still gonna close your trade? No, absolutely not, man. Because you zoom out and look at it, right? It's so high up in the run, so high up in the run. Odds are this can just still drop off again, and then do it, and then drop off again, and do it, and then you've got this, and then you just squeeze it into the low, right? Don't let something like that put you off. That's a case of just being too zoomed in. You know, sometimes when you're really high up in the run, it's better to stay on the 4 hour. That's the way I see it. Stay on the 4 hour, and let that kind of develop on you. Wait for the 4 hour close on this. That's what I said before. If you wait for the 4 hour close, it will keep you out of all of them negative thoughts that may be kind of putting you off with this trade. Because then if this 4 hour close is bullish, in the sense that, you know, we get some sort of pin bar low there, it's a massive wick, don't get me wrong, but it's basically showing that it's being bought up in all this area and we're respecting the area of that low. So doesn't necessarily mean we won't sell off, but what you have to also understand is the origin of that overall move is here. So the odds are if we're retracing and we're now breaking the 50% off this,
because you're looking at 50% of the candle. You can't, if you're going to be running the 50% rule, you need to look at the 50% of the overall positioning of the impulse, like that. And yeah, we're below it, so this will determine a lot as well. We've already broken below it. We're in bearish territory within this range right now, so we'll have to wait and see. I think that's probably what you were looking at as well, or what you should be looking at. Daily wise, you can see it, daily candle. That looks good for a formation, for a starting formation. You know, that pin bar, sorry, not that pin bar, that indecision candle on that high, and then the next one being bearish and closing below this open. That's a good sign. So if the daily closes remotely anywhere within this range, we could see the beginning of a bear cycle. May not move immediately. We might stall for like a day and go sideways a bit, but that's showing that the market is turning around in these areas. So if we start following through with momentum, you could probably start making start scaling up your prop firm assessments. You can start making a lot more money. Those things really change a lot quicker. So yeah, I wouldn't get too zoomed in and worry about that right now. It's doing what it needs to do. GUGJ, these two. So yeah, I'm basically just happy to leave those as they are. Wow, nice, man. I'm so happy that someone else got to catch this trade with me. You know, sometimes it's those little things. Like, I used to feel bad if I took a trade and someone else lost money, and I still do. But then it feels even better now that I have more knowledge and more understanding. So if I take a trade and I make money and someone else has made money, it's great. I think there's 3 or 4 people now who've messaged me from Instagram who've passed funding assessments just by taking the same trades I did, or by asking me a question. I've told them to stay out of trades, which is phenomenal, man. It's really, really eye-opening and happy. Makes me extremely happy, that's what I meant. Do you make off GP's red flag news in 30 minutes? I don't really care. I don't care so much. BOE interest rate decisions, man, it can kiss my ass. If it drops off and takes me out, you know, it's not going to do much for me. I am GBP orientated here, so the news is going to affect my trades, don't get me wrong, but I've got break even. I've got break even locked on everything except this trade right here. Let me just move that back to break even. I'm supposed to lock it in. Yeah, so I will. Yep, okay, that's done. I think I had an internet issue. It didn't move my stop loss. Luckily you mentioned that. So yeah, break even on this one. My break even is down here. So I've got break even here. This one over here I've got risk open, but when it comes to news, I will most likely leave it. I will leave it. I'll probably half my risk, but probably around about here. Or yeah, I'll probably. I'm gonna just leave risk open, man, on this one. I'm not bothered. I'm happy with it because it's done everything it needs to do, man. Like, in terms of continuation, look at it this way: larger flag, kind of like a failure right now. Small consolidation above that high. It's gonna go. Like, BOE rate decision could probably mess me about a little bit, but I'm not as bothered with it. I'm happy. I've already taken the trade. I'm already in it. I'm positioned well. I'm not going to let that little piece of news. When I go for my data collection and stuff, I noticed as well, and I was saying this to somebody I was showing the other day, is you don't look at news when you're data collecting and when you're taking these trades. So a lot of the time, it shouldn't affect you. Now, if I was taking this on 1% risk, yeah, absolutely, man, I'm going to be cautious and really concerned about my position. I want to close off around about 75% of my position at that point early. But I would have had to know that going into the position. Trading with 0.25%, you know, even with slippage, let's say each of them take me out for double the amount. This one takes me out for 0.5%, 0.5%. Okay, that's very unfortunate. I've lost 1.5% in total then. 1.5% in total at that point. I'll be like, okay, fine, it happened. It's an anomaly. But the odds are, looking at structure, looking at the higher time frame and stuff, we are looking very bullish right now. So BOE rate indecisions is working in my favor. So to be honest, the way I see it is just going to continue, just going to be patient with this and let it go. Let's see.
BOE interest rate decision, yeah, 4.4. It doesn't even look like there's much change as well. So knowing that there isn't going to be a significant change, most likely what we're going to see is prices going to continue in the way that it's already shaped up to continue. In fact, this is just accumulation for news right now. So what we're probably going to see is this accumulation, then news comes out, maybe worst case scenario, if you look at GU, and then remember we had this ray line right here. Right here. Maybe what you could see, which I think is also a possibility, is it dips and then it goes. Right? Because of volatility, you get a volatile spike like this, it drops and then it goes. So if you didn't go with additional protection and you kind of just went in aggressive, you're a bit in a trickier place because you could take that loss. Well, that's 6 pips, 10 pips. It could drop for 10 pips and go up 30 pips. Those things happen. If you went in for the 15, 14 pip stop loss, you might just survive it. So that's something to consider. But at the end of the day, I went in 10 pips, 11 pips. I went in, and I'm protected there. So I'm anticipating maybe if there's a spike, I kind of just survive it and it goes like that. Or there's no spike to the downside and it just flies. Or there's no reaction because the news didn't really change anything and it just continued moving in its dominant direction and it was always in an impulsive phase to the upside. So I hope that kind of answered the question. Let me see. My phone just connected to internet because it was disconnected and I just got a whole bunch of messages. Absolutely killing it today, Court GJ. Can I ask if you intend to hold for red news? Oh, okay. Right. Someone else just asked me that question on Instagram. Yeah. Yes, I intend to. It's hard to kind of tell someone that you would hold through news and then they're like, okay, I'll hold through news. But the difference is I'm risking 0.25% and then they're risking a 4%, maybe, with an aggressive stop loss. You see, I think it was on Monday, someone asked a question like, how do you perceive risk? And I was like, man, that's a really good question because I perceive risk in so many ways now. Where I mitigate my stop loss, how I enter the trade, where can I manage it into, what's my risk reward on the position, do I need to be aggressive, what time frame did I get it in on, and how well can I protect myself, how much time do I have to monitor the charts. These sort of questions all come to mind, and then that kind of comes into my risk factor as well. But then if you look at the technical risk factor, it's very plain and simple a lot of the time. Can I manage it to break even? Yes. Okay, then it's moderately low risk. Can I get into this position and could it develop against me? Then it's slightly higher risk. And then you have all these little criteria that kind of move it on a scale, and then eventually you have this mental visual scale where you can kind of place your trade on a higher risk or low risk. Says here, your video was good. Man, I get so many Instagram messages now. It's mad. It's kind of nice, but at the same time, people don't really write properly, so I don't know what they're saying. And you don't want to give them the wrong information. Especially the ones around maths, man. Maths isn't my strongest suit. So when people start asking me about percentages are not so bad actually. Percentages are actually quite easy. But they asked me about some what was this one? This one here. This person asked me about units, contract sizes. And the funny thing is, I worked in a broker for probably about 5 or 6 years of my life. And I used to work with contract sizes and stuff all the time. How funny is that? And now I can't even comprehend it. Like, what is 100 contracts? What's 1 micro? What's the contract size on yen pairs in comparison to major pairs on Forex? Like, I used to know all that information and now I've just erased it. Do you think it is advisable, like sticking to trading 7 pairs? Do you know what, right? For the past 2 years now, maybe even 2 years, I've had an S&P 500 on watch. And every single day I analyze it. And I've done that for so long. and I made money, and I've learned how to trade this really, really well. In fact, I understood it so well that, let me just, and kind of just put it there. So I would say yes, it is advisable for you to learn to trade a few pairs really well, but I don't think it's a necessary requirement. Have we just played news? No, not yet. I don't think it's a necessary requirement. I think if you're gonna have pairs on watch, just pick the ones that meet your trading plan the best. The ones that meet your trading plan the best, which are the closest. Which ones are the most likely to play out in accordance with your trading plan? That's the best thing to do, right? Once you kind of map that out, you can then go through your Sunday market breakdown, pick your pairs, and then you kind of just pick the ones that are positioned so well. Like for me, it's always about positioning and sequence as well, but positioning mostly rather than entry is last. Like I don't even care about entry as much because most of the time I don't even look for a solid candle confirmation these days. I'm just kind of like, yep, okay, that is where it needs to be. I'm happy, I'll just take it. I can mitigate against these variations, cool. And those trades play out because I know what I'm doing. And that's quite interesting when I say that because, a lot of the time I used to take candlestick confirmations so seriously. I was like, no, I need to wait for the right candlestick. And then what would happen is wouldn't be the best candlestick, and then I'll wait, and I'll get a later entry. And I couldn't get in with these aggressive entries. If you know me, I like to get in a lot of the time with quite an aggressive entry. I always have done. It's always been a characteristic of mine where I would always opt in for a risk entry. And I would always try opting aggressively. If you look over a lot of my trades as well, you'll notice that there's a similarity that it's just something that I enjoy. Why? Because like many other people, look here, had I taken the trade here on the 15-minute retrace there, price broke above, in a different unit of time, I might have taken a break even in this area here, right? But obviously, I didn't take a break even because I know what I was doing. But then you see how the aggressive entry, because I understood what I was doing as well, because I studied this enough, I could get away with putting my stops here at break even and survive the stupidity of the market coming to take people out of that 15-minute entry. And because of that reason alone, I prefer the aggressive entry. Would the aggressive entry probably take me out a few times? Yeah, sure. But I always go with anywhere between a high, low risk trade or a low risk trade. I avoid just high risk. For me, high risk is not really a trade anymore. It's not a trade that I would even want to entertain. Even if I was in considerably high amounts of profit, it's not worth the risk, honestly. And I've learned that over time now. There's a time where I'm up 50-something% in a month, which is not uncommon, to be fair. I used to think maybe I've been too aggressive and stuff, but Casa mentioned this to me. He said, how many other traders do I know are up to that much? And then he was like, why do I think so? And then that question dwelled on my mind for some time, and I came to the realization that it's because I kind of have the balls to just take it and then just deal with it and then adapt with the market. And sometimes I'll be loose, like I'll be trading this and I'll be like, you know what, I don't care. Like I'm running 3.5%. I'm just going to leave it at break even and come back and look at it tomorrow. The next thing you know, it's flying up there. And then it's like I can do that because I'm running like 20% for this week. And then I look later on in the month, I'm at like 30-something%. I'm like, what's the harm? Go a bit. Let me take these trades and let me just leave them at break even and see what happens. Like, sure, I'm leaving some profit on the table, but I've already made more profit than I could imagine in that week. So then I'm like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. Let's take the risk and see what happens. Of course, I'm not doing it with 1%. I have done it with 1% before, and I wouldn't get the same outcome because I knew that slippage could come. I could take 5% slippage in spreads, in gapping, all of these things. So for that reason, it was like, imagine I took this GJ trade, right? And then it commits, it's up here. And I said, I'm going to be loose with it. And then what happens Friday, it comes down a bit. And then it closes, the market closes here, right? At that point there. Then it opens, but it opens down here. and then I've just woken up in the morning and I've taken like 5% slippage, or for whatever reason, let's just say, and I won't be happy with that. But with trading low risk, 5% slippage is probably like all the way down here, or all the way down here somewhere. So it's kind of like the odds of me really losing a prop firm assessment at that point there is very, very low. And for that reason, it's like I don't even need to concern myself with those thoughts. I can just persist with everything that I'm already doing. Let me just read these comments. So yeah, just to go back to Sean's question, do you think it's advisable to stick to trading 7 pairs that are? I think so. You could even stick with like 3, and you can still pass an assessment. If I just pull this chart up, right? Let's just say we picked a pair. We picked any pair, and we said, okay, over 3 months, or let's say 2 months, I'm going to pass a FTMO, which means I have to get 15%. So I'll pick a really crappy pair, like New Zealand Swiss, right? And I'll show you how you can still do it with 1 pair, but it might take longer. And you already know the answer to this actually before I even show you. But let's just say we pick any period of time. So I'll just go in the weekly, and you know what? Let's pick this section here, okay? Right, and you can see price how it responded here. You basically had this low here, and then let's say after we look at it around about there, let's just pick it at a random point right in time. We just pick it here. Okay, obviously we know price is still selling off, right? We can see that, so we have to keep a bias for both sides of the trade right now. We're looking at New Zealand Swiss, just in case. And we're going to see this, so we're going to pattern separate on this as well. So first things first, we can see that we had this section here, we had this section here, we had the one just above, which you didn't tap into, and then obviously we had this obvious one there. Okay, so at that point there, because we want to know the price leading up to our entry, what did we have? We had price squeezing like this into this area. We didn't have any form of a rejection here, so we're waiting. Then we have the next point of interest, which is there, and then we had a bit of a response, and then we had this, which kind of then started retesting, breaking the low, and then it kind of came down here and started making its way back up. And then at this point here, we'd probably be thinking it's either going short or long, short into this area here, or it's coming back up to then tap into the next point, and then we're getting something a bit larger. Okay, so we would be in between that, so we wouldn't even know which way to go in the market entirely. So there's no trade there anyway, and then it sold off and dropped off, and then tapped into the low. After that, we had this strong wick, and then we had a retrace there, which kind of makes us think, could this be coming all the way back up here? It's possible, or is price coming back to retest this area? Okay, that's another possibility. So we still got to wait. So now what's happened is we've kind of built the thesis. We've decided this is the pair we're going to be focusing on. Worst decision we could have made, but we made that decision. And now, let's say we pick it out. So price is then squeezing. We've kind of got the low off it here. So now let's isolate it here. Take this bit off. And everything else before it, it's done what it needs to do, so we don't need to concern ourselves with that. We're then looking at this little bit of price as its own. So we've got this bit here, and then price is a bit steep coming up. I'm going to zoom out and just look at it. In fact, you know what? Let's put bar replay on it. Where the hell were we? Oh, we picked some very far back price action. I don't think it's going to give me bar replay. But you know what? Let's just put bar replay in any random place here. I like to do it here where you can't see it, right? What's it saying? Bar replay isn't available with currency conversion. What the hell does that mean? Doesn't work. There's no bar replay toolbar. Does not support. What? I've never seen this before. Oh, maybe it's the time frame. No. It doesn't support bar replay. That's very sus. Alright, we're going to go with another pair. Let's go with GN. Don't like GN. So, let's go with the worst pair, GA.
absolutely despise GA, and we're going to pick a random piece of date, a random date. Anyway, I can't really read this price action, so this will make it easier. And let's just pick this section here. Okay, cool. So let's make sure this chart is cleared. Okay, so let's pick it here. So we tapped into the high here. Now this one's no brainer for me. I'm looking for shorts. Right, I can see it right here, clear as day. We've got this coming in here, then we've basically got this low here, this low here. Oh, tap it in there. So I've got a low here, I've got one there as well, and then maybe just a little bit below, and then I had this low up here. So I've already marked on what I was basically looking at. So we've traded through the high, we've come back down with momentum on the 4 hour, looking at it on the daily. Daily's also closed pretty nice as well. So at this point here, I'm looking at shorts. Right, this has turned into a back testing section. So yeah. And then we go to the 4 hour. We can then see 4 hours now consolidated. Great thing about this is in my trading plan. This is exactly one of it. So I'm looking for continuation in this area here. So I'm looking for a continuation to shape up here. Let's wait and see. So I'll go to the 1 hour just to get a bit more refined. Now I can actually pick it out and choose. So there's two ways I'm looking at this. I'm either looking at it coming up here, or it's selling off a bit more and it's giving me one later in the run. So I've got it basically marked on here. Okay, I'm going to take that off because it's trading through it. What's nice. And then I'm going to also mark up my retest up here. Okay, so I'm looking at into it's already done this. So up here that's done. Okay, that's a possibility, and then this is a possibility, and this is a possibility. But more so, we're through this low here. So next target zone, because before I get in the trade, I want to know where I'm getting out, is somewhere around here. So now let me size up my risk reward if I was to get in the trade here somewhere. Let's say I got in with remotely 37 pips. I still got a 3-1 to the low, so I'm happy with that. I'm gonna let these candles play out. I'm waiting for it on the 1 hour. So on the 4 hour, I can see I'll probably just wait a little bit more. 4 hours looking good. Probably go back to the 1 hour and just play these candles out slowly. So as price consolidates longer, it's less likely that it needs to come to the high because it's creating a volume. I'm looking at highs and lows. I haven't really got two tops at this point, so I'm just going to let that play. Perfect. At this point here, I can set a reduced risk entry, really and truly. That's a bit of a volatility risk, so I'm not bothered. Reduced risk entry would have to be quite large. So then if I size this up here, if I put it here, yeah, 1.2 to that low. I'm still quite high up in the run. I think it's still okay because the overall run I've got around about 6.5. But in terms of risk reward, almost 90 pip stop loss on GA, and spreads can be horrible even with a 97 pip stop loss. If it's all the way up here, I'm already taken out, so I'm not taking that trade. I'm going to wait for something a little bit better. I'm going to move on my indicator as well at this point, which is sessions, because right now a lot's happening and I want to make sure that I'm going to be sharp. So I'm going to just evaluate when is this price going. So London session looks like a good one. New York session, it's okay. Asian session, Tokyo session, okay, great. So Tokyo session wise, London session, Tokyo session, prime focus that I'm looking at. So I'm going to remove that and I'm just going to wait now. So we're coming in here. We are now 5 a.m. We're about 2 hours away from the session. I want to be looking for an entry, and then boom, we literally sold off here. So let's see if I go down to the 15-minute. Was there something that I missed? Nah, man, I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. But you can see the anticipation of just knowing session came in and it just dropped off. I'm not really mad with a trade like that, to be honest. I'm okay because I understood that the risk reward wasn't really something I was looking for. So I was happy to let that one go. Now we're kind of in a run of momentum and we haven't really got much left. I can anticipate something on the 5. So I can still get involved on this. I may not be up here, but I still got something to work with down here. So I'm going to mark on these 2 points here. And I'm going to be forecasting something in terms of a continuation in these areas. You know, it could be something like that. Or it could be something smaller in here, and it just does its thing. So I'm just going to play them candles out on the 5, and this is looking good, perfect. I'm really happy with that. It's actually come back and retested this section. Let's see the next candle. Yep, okay, that's good. It's kind of set its place out, and now I've got 2 tops and 2 bottoms. This is looking good. I want to see it on the 15 as well. Yeah, this is nice. This is looking like a good section to play in. I'm going to be waiting for a little bit more though. I want to see this come back in one more time, come back up, and then I'm going to sell it like that. So go back to the 5 minute. If it starts pushing up higher, then we'll have to wait and see how we're going to be taking this. But yeah, you see now it's coming to what I need it to. I'll mark up this point here just to be ready in case something like that does play. But the likelihood is that this is our range, really and truly. This is the range that we're playing with. So I'm going to play that candle out. And where are we in time of day? We're coming into New York session, right? New York session is roughly around about here. So I'm looking for an entry somewhere around about that period there. So let's let that play out a little bit more. I'm not looking to mess with this too much. And it was still around about that session time. And there we are. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the 15 and just double check that, see how that's looking. And yeah, it's still corrective, to be honest. Like, you know, I'm not anticipating a trade right now. Sometimes I could be looking for the trade and it doesn't shape up. Arguably, if I wanted to take it as a really crappy trade, I'll take it here right now. But I'm going to wait for a base to form because I've only got one bottom. If that can come back down anywhere remotely down here and it makes its way back up, and I've even got something like that, trade from there is still good for me, even though it started off being a bit slow and messy. So stay on the 15 and I'll let that play out a bit more. Perfect. We're in a good place right there. Oh, fuck, pressed it. But yeah, so right here, good place. You'd set your entry right here, to be honest. You'd set your entry after that. You get tagged in. Stop loss wise, look, 10 pips would put you here. Fair enough. I would go a little bit more. I would probably go 20. Just because it's GA, and you know, time of day, I'm taking it kind of a bit later in New York session as well. So if this doesn't go, I would have to be out of the trade anyway. I'm looking to play it down here for about 5 to 1. I'm happy with that trade. I've got it into the low there, so we can manage it at least to the low, and let's wait and see. So now it's pulling back up. I am gonna just quickly check this on 15. You got phase 1, phase 2. Comes up. Yeah, I mean, because of the time of day, you're looking at around about 4 o'clock UK now. Let's wait and see how the next candles are. Borderline, you're now hovering around your break even. It's around about 4:15. You got about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got about 5 hours, so I'll probably leave that open. I'm okay with that. And wait and see. And price is still there. Price is hovering around and not an area I really want to be playing around with. I'm gonna most likely just take the loss. Not take the loss. I'm most likely gonna not leave this trade open because it's probably gonna come during Asian sessions. So I will take the break even on that one for sure and leave it. Even if it sells off now and there's a few hours till swaps, I'll let it be. So let it do its thing. And here it is. So even in that period there where you could argue like, oh wait, hang on a second, you would have been all the way down here, blah, blah, blah. I guarantee you would have been taken out by spreads at this point here, just to kind of point that bit out. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Now we're coming back into the morning. I'm going to wait till the London session, so hopefully we get an entry where we come back up. Well, the range has been established, which is nice. And hold on 1 second. Hey bro. Yeah, so I'm going to wait for this to come back up here, and then we're going to basically go in my mic. What's up with the mic? It's echoing a lot. Okay. Yeah, I need to sort that out. Sorry man, I do apologise about the echoing. I'll probably go from there. And I'll play that out. So let it play. There was a trade there, but because I clicked past it, I'm just going to let it go. Wait for the next one. Here we are. That looks good. If I get another candle, oh, I love it. I love it. Please retrace. It's not quite what I want. There is a trade here, but this looks like it's going long. Yeah, definitely wouldn't even want to mess with something like this, man. It's tapped in here. I think the likelihood is you wait for a continuation now. The best low risk trade you can find is probably going to be here where it is. If you get continuation here, you're solid for sure. I need to start prepping to go to the gym actually, but let's wait and see. So if we start getting continuation here now, we are going to be looking at shorts. Let's wait. It's looking messy. It's looking long. Yeah, we're back up there. So again, I guess looking at this and trying to answer your question to, do you want to have one pair on watch? Probably you don't want to go to you. Arguably, this one for what? If I look at the period here, from here to here, that's about in 10 days. There was no trade, man. No clear trade. So I would argue that would be one pair you definitely wouldn't want to be putting on. But there's times where it does commit. I just kind of wanted to do that to kind of just see if I put the worst pairs that I could think of on watch, and we had them on watch and we were just watching them, would it be sensible? And the truth behind it is no, it would be probably an extremely bad decision. So having one pair on watch and just monitoring it and trying to catch it, you want to go with something which is a little bit more reliable. A major currency pair is the most likely one that I would want you to go with. Where is my entry on this? Did I play off the chart on this or something? 1 second. No, I've got my joints here. Wait 1 second. I am, thank you. Bar replay. Okay. Yeah, we're still here. Obviously, we're targeting up here. Break evens there, but stop loss is still open on this. News is what now? In 2 minutes. So that'll be an interesting one to see. Sorry about the echoing on the mic. I'll sort that out as soon as possible. Thanks for your thoughts. Need to drop a great session. Appreciate it. You may be doing it in a place where there's no problem. Yeah. Let's wait and see. We're going to get news in 50 seconds. After the news goes, I'm going to definitely move to break even on. So if this commits to the upside and it's up here somewhere, I'll move to break even. If it comes back down, it takes me to break even, it's what it is. Equally, this one's at break even already. So this is at break even. I'll just put it here so it's easy to grab on the way back up. And then this one's at break even. This is the only one risk open. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously my break even is quite low down. Yeah, as anticipated, there isn't much change. Sterling could rise. Yeah, pretty standard. You know, definitely probably will wait and see.
break even. That would be break even now. This one is borderline almost tagged out, but that would be a straight out break even, or 0.2% win, whatever you want to look at. This one has survived. Wouldn't be surprised though when this drops and gives a big wick down here. We can most likely. Let me just mark this up as a break even on my trade. This one's a loss. Not really bothered at all. Just waiting to see now. What DXY? Let's have a little look. Yeah, DXY still hovering. Yep. Just put them in the trading journal. Move on. Like I said, if I didn't have this trade open, that would probably been a break even as well. It's only because I've got this one open. I'm more than happy to survive that one. What's this GJ? I think GJ I could re-entry that if I really wanted to. You could re-entry with this. I'm not somebody to really worry too much. Also, if I went in there, yeah, I'd still borderline been tagged out at loss. This is still playing in accordance with what it is. Obviously, until that candle closes, but that's just volatility. So I'm still in on this trade, which is now roughly borderline 2%. Still got some room. Break even. Yeah, it is what it is, honestly. It's okay. So this one I took 0.2% profit. Let me just double check that. Yeah. 0.2% profit on this one. And then this one just tagged me out for a loss. And then this one's still open, but it's not looking all that. I'm not bothered. If I was in drawdown though, for sure, as I mentioned, you wouldn't want to play around with news. And if I was trading with higher risk, I wonder what else is moving. Let's see what the other pairs. So if we swap over to these ones, what about EG? Interesting. Funny. GC. Ooh. GBP Swiss. Could be an interesting one later. Yeah, I think it's still good. Still a good trade. Just needs some time. It's probably going to come back into these areas and then potentially go long. Yeah, that one is a break even as well. Oh, not a break even, a plus 0.36% profit. With spread included, so yeah. Alright, I'll save that one in. Yeah, so I mean, total I actually took a 0.4% loss off of 0.25, which wasn't, it's not the worst thing in the world. Again, it was running around about a few percent, to be fair. I wasn't really bothered because I'm still up around about just borderline 20%. So it's not that I was trying to be aggressive or reckless, but at the same time I wasn't too bothered with a break even and a small loss. Yeah. Sweet. It's pretty good. So let's have a little look at what's shaping up today. CPI can be more aggressive actually, to be honest. CPI I've noticed can be a quick spike. Obviously, we're basically playing it as a completion of a structure, mitigating risk in the best way possible, and then letting it do its thing. So, if you're in drawdown, obviously you wouldn't even consider probably taking that as your first trade. I mean, it's still a good trade, but with news there, it wouldn't be your first trade. This one's okay. I think this trade here, probably it would survive if I left it bang on break even. It's just, after a wick like that, it's probably wicking because of the news, nothing else. So it's probably going to retrace, be back up, and then people will be like, oh my god. But yeah, that's it. That's genuinely it. So I wouldn't be surprised now if price makes its way back up and continues higher. Looking at the DXY as well, it's just at the same time I'm not fixated on a trade like that. It was never the best trade possible. It was just a available trade. If I look at the rest of my watch list, what have I got for New York session? That's clearly not looking too good either. CJ, yeah. Euro CAD didn't shape up. Gold definitely. If I was in this, I would be looking. I would have been out for 4.4. Yeah, definitely. I would have been out for 4.4. Yeah. Silver's still got some long ahead of it as well. And then let's look at some of the other pairs over here. Euro New Zealand, not much. Euro Yen, not much. Euro Yen, not much. New Zealand Yen, Euro Yen, nothing. EG for long. Not really bothered about that. Let's keep reading this. The extent of further reductions depend on the evolution outlook of inflation. Bank of England leaves a benchmark at 4% as expected. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing special. I think the market's going to continue in the way it's been moving. It's not doing anything unusual. Let's have a little look, one sec. Yes, do you know what? This thing is so common, it's very common, it's probably going to continue like... Obviously the dreadful thing is of where it's sitting is there, but it's probably going to continue higher. Like I said, you get repositioned in that and you go along. Over here, still, that's just the value of cheap price. Buying this back up makes sense. It was always moving higher at this point anyway. Interest rates have been set. It doesn't make a big difference. US dollars dominating the index right now of currency pairs. It's a basket. Just want to see that kind of drop off. So it looks like it's developing something, but then at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it just does that. And like we said, does this and continues, and it's just moving in a motion to keep moving to the downside. So we'll wait and see. I do think NU would still be, NU's still there. Yeah, GU's good, man. I like GU. I would leave everything now anyway. I don't think I'm too bothered about catching another trade so far. I'm going to wait a little bit longer, but it seems, is it New York session? Not yet. Into New York session, you might get a trade. So we've got New York session coming around about here. This could just kind of mess about a bit, come over here. And then the New York session, we just start to see rapid movement back up. That's what you kind of want to be waiting for, because then in line with the DXY, coming into New York session, you might even get price come back up here. And then creates continuation, just continues higher. And then if that happens, this is probably coming back down to the downside. So it's okay. Just clear this off. Yeah, I would be conscious of that. The short as well now, because that's failed continuation. It's now broken. It's now creating continuation here where you've got a low gap there. Gives you something here into New York session, and then you get in over there, risk above here to protect that, and then you're basically shorting it. And then the next thing you know, this is going short, DXY is going long, filling in the gap, and then it's on its way back up. And then the whole time you were like, oh, well, I was looking at shorts. But then what happened was all of this failed, and then what we were saying with yen pairs as well, you're getting this as well, and you're getting short here, and then you're basically playing the run. And then that's the New York session into the downside. And then you've got a big run all the way back down here. Obviously that's the wrong way around. Let me just put it up here. 15 pips, 14 pips, still moderately decently okay. Could go less, and then you're managing from about 30 to 1. So you see a lot can change actually by just pivoting now. I wouldn't hold a bias on longs or short, I would be very neutral. If you can get a trade in there without tapping into that low, it'd be pretty decent to go short. If it just breaks and continues selling off, then I would shift and be a bit careful. But 15 minutes to 5 minutes, yeah man, this is looking really good for a short right now. We just have to wait to see how it shapes up. If it retraces back up, then fair enough. We've got a clear message from the market that we're probably not going to get that. But if we get something like this now, into New York session, however it shapes up, and you get positions in there equally, that could be a mega trade. Manage it easily into that point there, and then goes in down here. You're basically taking it in from there to there. Let me just measure that risk reward based on speculation of where it will be. Say at 10 pips, it's more than enough, but 10.05, why not? And then into here you're managing for about 1.6, to the low you've got around 5.6. And I'll be all over a trade like that. I think that's so nice. Wow. Really like that. And then that just plays and play it into this low. And then you take it for 5%. Take 5% right there. Maybe not. Maybe it continues. Maybe it's in further development of a beginning of a larger flag here, who knows. But 5% into that low, I'll be a bit more aggressive with 5. Once it taps into that 5.8, I'll be more aggressive. And then if it just starts selling off and continues, it could turn into a much more mega trade than you anticipated. Bear in mind, we've broken below all of this value as well. So remember, we've always been bearish since we've been down here. It's until we've just really retraced, it's different. So yeah, wait on that. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope we got some value from this session. Definitely I did. We'll see if this becomes more continuation higher, which is obviously in line to do. That's one thing. If we break below and get continuation, that's another thing. It's retracing right now. I think it's a tricky one because it's still within all of that. So you take it here, you would want to put a bit more protection on something like that because of what's happened. You'd go large, you'd probably play it like that. That would be a re-entry on a GJ. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad for a re-entry. I like it. 1 hour's there, 15 minutes, not confirmed either, so I wouldn't take it on the 5. I would wait. I like this sell though a lot more. I like this sell so much more than buy right now. Wait and see. Let's wait and see. Let's see what shapes up. But yeah, cool. That's it basically. I'm going to get ready to go to the gym now, so we will see where we are when we come back. Any questions, hit me up on Instagram and I'll get back to you guys. And yeah, hope we had a good session. Alright guys, I'll speak to you soon. And yeah, Zeph, we'll definitely have a call. I'm going to take my dogs now and I'll be back in a couple hours from now. So I'll give you a buzz on Instagram and we'll